In this lesson, we're going to take a little bit more of a look at DNS, and specifically, I'm going to take a look at how you would change the DNS servers that you're pointing to. Typically, you would have a local DNS server that you would refer to, and that's where your system would send its DNS queries to get those resolved into IP addresses, or if you're doing a reverse lookup, looking up a host name from an IP address. Now, you would normally do a local lookup, and that's really to keep the traffic local so you're not sending a lot of queries over wide area links and using up bandwidth and so on and so forth. However, there are a number of places where you can actually use what are called public resolvers. And let's take a look here, before I get into that too much, at the file where the name servers are actually stored. And you can see at the very top here, it says, do not edit this file by hand, your changes will be overwritten. It's really managed by another process that loads this up once it has the information. And I'll show you where that comes from in just a second. I've got name server here, and the name server is 127.0.1.1. In this case, that's referring to the host operating system, so all of my DNS queries get dropped up to the virtual machine, and the virtual machine does the lookup for it, and that actually acts as the name server. I could change that, as this says if I change this file and change the name server, it's not really going to do much because it's going to be very quickly overwritten. And how I would do that here, the easiest way is to just go up to this up arrow, down arrow button at the top, and I can go to edit connections just like we've done previously, and I can edit this. Now we're going to go over to IPv4 settings, and you'll see this is set to automatic, which means all of the IP configuration information is going to be configured for me. I could do addresses only, which is going to open this up, and I could do like 4.2.2.1, and I could also add in 8.8.8.8. So I could add my own DNS servers if that's actually what I wanted to do, and that would get populated into the resolve.conf file for me, and I would use those DNS servers. Sometimes it's helpful to use public DNS servers if you've got a flaky DHCP server locally, or maybe you're in a situation where you don't actually have a DHCP server. You can go configure the DNS servers in this way so that it's actually using the DNS server that you want. In that case, the first one is I was adding in IP addresses that belong to level 3 that used to be GTE Internetworking and Ingenuity. And the second one is Google. And they both operate public resolvers. You can just add those IP addresses in and use those public resolvers rather than your local ones. You may also have an instance where you want to use maybe your own DNS server rather than the one that's handed to you. So you could go change your DNS servers if that's what you wanted to do.